Open up your mind to the way, the conscious way, the way of conscious mindfulness. Hey, Sifu Boggy here once again, and welcome to the Way of Conscious Mindfulness. Now, firstly, who the heck am I and what's this show all about? Well, as I said, my name is Sifu Boggy. Sifu means guide, muse, somebody who points you along the way, who guides you along your path. And Boggy, well, Boggy is my martial art name, it is my healing name, it is my spiritual name, and it means the balancer between the chaos and the calmness. So, I've been studying what I do for the last 37 years. What is it I do? Well, I've studied Qigong, Tai Chi, Tit Ta, Tui Na, and many other Chinese and Taoist healing modalities and skills. And my aim, my goal as a barefoot doctor, which is one of my sort of pathways, and the dragon dog shaman, which is another, is to help healers, light workers, and coaches especially supercharge themselves and ensure they never burn out. So what is this show all about? Well, this show is The Way of Conscious Mindfulness, which is a regular podcast and Facebook Live show discussing spirituality and science, balancing health and well-being with mind, body, and spirit, with a Taoist twist. What does the Tao mean? The Tao means the way, the path, the balance. Now, this isn't a normal show. Anything with me in it isn't normal. Each show, each week, each show, we either have a subject or a guest. We have a favorite guest of mine. He's been on before on the YouTube version, and now he's on the Facebook version for the first time. And we've had a few little tech difficulties, but we've got it through. We've sorted it out. So our aim, our goal, is to have an open discussion to help us all find new techniques, new ways to balance our very own personal path, way, or Tao. So, with a few little clicks of buttons, and without further ado, I bring on the mighty George Xavier Dr.Love himself. Hello, sir. Hello, my friend. Good to have you back on the show.
I am wonderful, and I'm feeling very prolific these days. I've been writing up a storm. I've written 2 books just in the last 2 months, and I'm halfway through a third. The book that I'm really excited about is called Qigong and Your Brain. It only has 4 chapters, and it explains how your nervous system works, how your brain works, how your circulatory works, interacts with each one of those systems, and how it makes it better. Okay, so I'm going to start with Egyptian mind science. The ancient name for Egypt, according to the Encyclopedia Britannica, is Kemet, K-M-T. So that's the legit name of ancient Egypt, and I call it Kemetek because it was high tech. Now, I'm sure you've seen the all-seeing eye, the eye of Horus, the Egyptian eye. Well, if you take the brain and you cut it in half, and I wish I was techie enough to have an actual graphic of the brain, it represents the limbic system. Now, we have the cortex of the brain, which is our mind. Then we have limbic, and then we have the hypothalamus, which controls the neuroendocrine system. So our emotions are the drivers of all of our choices. So when we're in an emotional state, it affects our analytical thinking. It also affects our nervous system. Now, we have an autonomic nervous system that we divide in 2 parts. One is the sympathetic, one is the parasympathetic. The sympathetic is the yang, The parasympathetic is the yin. Now, we're told that we have no control over the autonomic nervous system. So when you wake up at 3 a.m. and your heart is pounding, boom, 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 and you go to the doctor and you say, what's wrong? And he gives you all the tests and he says, well, Mr. Jones, there's really nothing wrong with you. It's just your autonomic nervous system. Just go home and get some rest. Bullshit, my pounding like that. Well, they don't believe that we can actually have control over the autonomic. And through Qigong breathing, Qigong meditation, and Qigong exercise, you can exert influence over your parasympathetic. So your sympathetic is the accelerator, and the parasympathetic is the brakes. So this big, hairy, greasy-looking guy gets in your face. And if you react with fear and loathing, then he's going to take an advantage of you. But if you say, hi, big guy, how you doing? And you give him a hug, that throws him off, and now you're still in control. So we use the parasympathetic, those of us in the Qigong world, and hopefully martial arts, because the point of martial arts is to not get into a fight. It is to use your spiritual mastery of your physical to avoid a fight. So we defend the weak and we protect the innocent. That is our spiritual mission. So with breathing and with meditation and with Qigong exercises, we can balance whatever's going on physiologically. Okay? So fear is a healthy emotion that keeps you from getting killed. But you can't, oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
That's what I've been doing for the last 30 seconds. Well, the last minute. So there you have. So there's the Eye of Ra and horse, and you can actually see. Well, it's not actually totally clear on there, but the actual bone structure, it's the cartilage that looks exactly the same. So yeah. So there you. So sorry, sir. You carry on.
So fear. You can't live in fear. Worry is a healthy emotion that spurs you to action. And anger is a healthy emotion that keeps you from getting taken advantage of. But you can't live in anger, fear, and worry. So that's where we use Qigong breathing, Qigong meditation, and movements to balance all that out and to take us out of that emotion. Now, when we move a certain way, we literally push blood up into the brain. And if our blood is oxygenated, and the word qi literally means breath. So if you oxygenate your qi, if you oxygenate your blood, and then you have the qi, so you have access to it when you need it. So by doing exercise, we push the blood, we shoot it up into the brain, oxygenating the brain. And that alters the emotional state, and then we calm and relax the nervous system. Now, there's something called skeletal nerves. Bones are actually living tissue, and the muscle attaches to the tendon, which attaches to the bone. Now, the liver controls muscles and tendons. The kidney controls the bones and the brain. The kidney is the mother of the liver. So the bone and brain control the muscles and the tendons. Wow. So everything works together. Explains it to us. Nobody teaches us this. And that's Kemetek mind science, or ancient Egyptian mind science. Now, the Egyptians had movements. We didn't have video cameras. They didn't even take snapshots, but they had 3D positions, okay? So what I what I've done is I've taken the pictures off the walls and put together a moving meditation, which you and I both know is Qigong. Of course, I don't know what the ancient Egyptians called it, but clearly they knew it because they put that all-seeing eye on a pedestal. And I'm sure if you've been to the Anglican church, you've carried, if you were an acolyte like I was, you carried the cross or a candle on this long Egyptian. They would put the eye and they would march into the temple carrying the eye. Wow, the limbic system is controlled by the amygdala, which is the memory of the emotion. And your brain doesn't know the difference between what happened 10 years ago and what happened yesterday. Okay? So this is how we move. And you know how there are some high school athletes who keep reliving that football match that they had. And they're 40 years old, they're drinking a pint at the pub, and they're still telling that story. And that's their glory, okay? Mm-hmm. But you and I have to recreate that every day. Repetition is the mother of skill. And we're not relying on what happened 10 years ago. We work at it every single day. I go for 2 hours, and that's the only reason why I've reached the level that I have, is because of consistency and diligence and dedication.
And that's the you know, it's the interesting thing. Oh, there's so much there. The interesting thing about, like, you know, the Qigong is, like, for me, like, people say, like, what's the difference between Qigong and Tai Chi? And a way I explain it, Qigong is music in general, and all Qigongs are different melodies or tunes, and Tai Chi is a style of music, so it's a style of Qigong, so it's like classical music. And then you've got, like, Bakwa, which is another style as well. But the whole point of the Qigongs is that you can actually take a couple of notes. Like, if you've got a harmonica, you can just, with a couple of notes, you can make a little tune, and you can put a couple of tunes together and you'll make a melody. And the whole point with the Qigongs is that you can put different Qigongs together and you can create your own, you know, a system, your own system. And, you know, like you say about the Egyptians, well, you know, there's a couple of things there. My teachers, my family system, the Shundao family system, they say that there were Qigong practitioners in Egypt, and they practiced, they were there, and they, because when they talk about the Taoists, they actually say Taoism didn't come from China, it came from somewhere else, and it spread out. Because there are so many. I mean, I'm obviously, well, I'm live in England, and you go back into the ancient history of England, you've got the pagans, and the pagans and druids have got certain, signs, certain, like, the certain signs and certain symbols. And when you go to China, you see the same symbols. You go, hold up, how is that symbol, or that similar thing? And they talk about Arwin, the is Arwin, or the and the free, the free energies, and there's very similar stuff in paganism to the ancient Taoists. And again, what my sifus and what I learned from different cultures, from Tibet, when I was China, Tibet, India, they were saying originally elsewhere there was one, this information was in one, and then it split up. People, that the meridians, the chakras, the auras, the Merkaba, the pterygial field, these are not different systems. These are not different ways of seeing the same thing. They're the layers of the same thing. Just like we talk about the blood and the tissues and the muscles, rather than saying, oh, it's all about the muscles. And then somebody else says, no, it's all about the tendons, or it's all about the blood, or it's all about the lungs. Well, no, you need all of it. You need all of them. And it's interesting that's what I sort of was. So it's and of course, there's the thing about the Jedi. The Jedi comes from the Egyptian word de-Jedi, which means pillar of light. and they were supposed to be the keepers of the pillar of light, the ancient knowledge. And of course, as you know, my brother, and I've actually been working with the wonderful Emily Harrison that does the Akashic records, and she talked about the Akash. Now within Taoism, that they had the Akash, but it was called the Tao. To tap into that ancient knowledge that is the past, the present, and the future, because ancient Taoists were really like quantum physicists, because to them everything was all interconnected, and there was no past or present. There is just the now, the moment. There's just the Tao, and everything happens all at once. But the thrusting channel, the direct channel that's in our body, and when we pull it, for Qigong, we pull in the bum, open up the hips, the qua, and we tuck in the head. We align this channel. Now she calls that the crystalline tube, and the light channel, and the crystalline tube is, oh, 1 second, I don't know which color this is, but the crystalline tube is, it's a red one, but it'll do. It is a lightsaber. It's the pillar of light, a lightsaber. This is me, I love my props, and this is my lightsaber, and the lightsaber is looked after by the Jedi. The Jedi means the pillar of light, and that's what a lightsaber is. It is a pillar of light. So there's all these metaphors within Egyptian, well, even within modern science. Oh, what's he bringing out? The star. Yes. What was it called? Yes. And there's all, these are all hints. These are all the Matrix. The hints of the universe talking to us, trying to. Oh wow, that is really cool. I love that.
So this is pretty sharp.
I bet. And there was that great thing you said about, in the West, we think martial arts is all about fighting, but listen to the word martial art. Martial is the practice, is the repetition of, constant working on your art. The art is the flowingness. It's the free moving, the freestyle. And with Qigong, or at least how I was taught, that in the Chinese arts, the Qigong, you have the three M's: medical, martial, and meditational. And the martial side is actually is fitness. It is fitness, but it's also more importantly, it's actually body posture. So in martial arts, you learn about the anatomy and physiology. You learn about body mechanics to how you can manipulate bones and whatnot. But on healing, that becomes manipulating them, either bone setter, titar, and or osteopath, we would say in the West, osteopath or chiropractor, and realigning people's bones. Massage is healing, but in wartime, massage is nerve strikes and holding on, grappling techniques. Everything interlaces into everything else. Oh, have we lost you?
Exactly. The points that heal can also kill.
Yeah, and ironically, that was the first thing my Sifu said to me, Malay Shun. He said, before you can learn to kill, you must learn to heal. So he taught me the healing arts, and of course, healing and fighting, the thing that binds the two is meditation, because people think meditation means standing there, crossed legs, going om. That's a meditation, but meditation simply means focus on one thing and forget everything else, distracting your monkey mind, your consciousness, the 60 to 90,000 thoughts we have at the front of the head. Give it something to work on, while the unconscious, the Buddha thought or Buddha mind, allows that to expand and grow and to repair yourself or balance your situation or figure out problems. So meditation is about helping you balance the chaos and the calmness. So Qigong is a meditation because you're focusing on one thing. Your hands are doing something or your body's doing something. But as I tell people, meditational wise, fishing is a meditation. If you drive a car properly, it's a meditation. If you watch a movie, it can be a meditation. And with the Qigong, it's all about body posture and correct. You can turn washing the dishes into a Qigong. You can turn ironing your clothes into a Qigong, because it's all about aligning the body and relaxing the muscles, but stretching the tendons, or at least Neigungish style, for us, using that terminology. But when you relax the muscles and stretch the tendons, you allow the blood to flow and the body gets more. As you also matching your breathing with your movements, you allow the body to get more oxygenated and allow things to flow and move more freely. But as any good Taoist should say, my dear friend, hey, what the heck do I know?
Well, you couldn't have said it. I mean, I couldn't have said it any better than you just did. But the second thing I want to talk about is the dance of Qi. And I was just looking on my phone trying to find the right music to play, because what I've done is taken Qigong movements that are normally done very slow. I created a rhythm, speeded them up, and now we have a Qi dance. And I've created 12 Qi dances, and I teach them in a particular weekend to teach people how to heal themselves through movement. Now, are you going to learn Qigong in one weekend? No. But you learn dance for the heart, the liver, the spleen, the kidneys. You're going to learn how to delete anger, how to delete worry, how to delete fear. You're going to learn how to open your heart. You're going to learn how to elevate from the sacral bone to the cranial. You're going to learn how to push cerebral spinal fluid through your body. Okay? So those are the 12 Qi dances that I teach. And I was going to do a little demo, but for some reason I can't pull up the music. Ah, there we go. And I don't know how to. Okay, we're gonna have to do this later. I don't know how to make the music loud. Oh, I do. I do know how to make it louder.
So and this is the thing, the whole thing of what we do. It's all about fun. It's all about because the true Taoist, the true Qigong expert, is all about play and about finding new ways to do the same stuff. Right.
Qigong dancing, Qigong dancing, Qigong dancing. Qigong for me to be healthy. Qigong for you to be healthy. Qigong for me to be healthy. Qigong for you to be healthy. Qigong dance for Qi to be healthy. Qigong moving slow for the Qi to flow with the rhythm of your breath. Qigong for you to be healthy so you can be your best.
So that's just a little short sample. And so each dance has about 8 different parts to it. And so as we move the shoulder in a circle, we're getting the elbow and the wrist. The shoulder is connected to the pec, which pushes the lungs, and it's also connected to the scapula, which pushes the blood into the back of the heart. So as we rotate the shoulder in a circle, we're getting heart and lung circulation. So each movement has a spiritual, a medical, and a martial application.
And that also happens to be. Yeah, it's awesome, and that system's one of my favorite. What I know is spiraling dragon, so it's like all the spiraling dragon moves. So I love that and drunken style. And people think, no, I don't mean you have to get drunk, but it's all about counter reacting. So if you're leaning back, you lift your leg up, go forwards, and if you go, hand goes up to go down, and it's all about the counter reaction of the body using the the counter mechanism of the body, and that's great. And that is what that would lead into what in Qigong we call Neigong, which is basically what a lot of people would call Taoist yoga. Is we do dynamic moving and stretching. So with yoga, not all yoga, but a lot of yoga is more of a stationary stretch or a slight bit of movement. But in Taoist yoga, in Neigong, we like to flow that movement, and we like to get into this rhythm or this like dynamo effect where it's continuously flowing. Because the great you can't say it. The great Bruce Lee would say, and it's known as a Taoist saying, is that flowing water never grows stale. So that's the great thing with the dancing, is that you can flow and move, and you allow it to keep going. Which is one of the things. That's why I love roller skating and ice skating, because for me, it's nearest you get to being chi, being flowing energy. Because you can move and turn and twist and flow, and yeah, it's a lot of people say, is that I do things. I have always had ice hockey players or figure skaters say, "Boggy, you do stuff that I wouldn't even dare do." How do you do it? It's just go with the chi, man. Just go with the chi flow. Just go with the chi flow. It's all good. But that's great. So where do you do this? Obviously, you're in America, but whereabouts do you do these courses, George?
Okay, I'm in South Florida, about an hour north of Miami. I'm about 20 minutes from West Palm Beach, if that has any relevance for you. But I've just created an online course called Thai Yoga, T-A-I Yoga, which is a mixture of Taoist yoga, Qigong, and Tai Chi. So I have 9 different exercises that I teach for yoga, Tai Chi, and Qigong. And those 27 exercises, I can teach that in 2 weekends, and then you can be certified. So I get a lot of questions. People say, well, I knew that they have this for 100 hours. And I was like, oh, really? And but I also want to study Tai Chi. So which one should I do? So that's why I created the Thai Yoga, so you can do all 3 in one course. And then if you want to go on and learn more, then I can send you to my friends that teach Tai Chi full time. I can send you to my friends that teach yoga full time. But at least you'll get a flavor of what Taoist yoga or the medical Qigong that I teach. So yeah. I'm a doctor of Oriental medicine for 27 years in the state of Florida. So I got licensed the first year that acupuncture was licensed in the state of Florida. So I'm sort of like the grandfather of acupuncture in the state. And I've taught at 3 different acupuncture schools. So I'm maybe 60 or 70 go acupuncture school. So I have a huge following. And so now I want to recreate that in the medical Qigong. So I want to teach people that you can heal yourself with movement. So if you were God and you were going to invent human beings, would you invent them so that they need to break down and see doctors? Or would you invent them so they were self-repairing?
Yeah.
Obviously.
And that's, but this is, I mean, and China, obviously, because I love Taoism and I love the stuff. China wasn't the only place that did this. The ancient cultures believed you should learn. The shaman taught you techniques. They would heal you to begin with. They'd start you off, but they taught you techniques to heal yourself. And that's the whole premise of the Barefoot Doctor, is that, you know, the Barefoot Doctor would, you know, oh, right, you need this, this, and this. But at the same time, they would give you exercises, Qigongs and Neigong, you know, and they would give you things to say, right, this is, okay, I'll fix you for now. But now you've got to learn to heal yourself and fix yourself. And even the culture of like China is for example, is that, you know, they actually, I don't know about in America, but in the UK, we are advised we should do half an hour exercise every day. In China, it's a bit of a law. You know, they actually have that, you know, it's law that you do it. And if you don't do it, you're penalized by, if you do get ill, you will have to wait longer to get your operation, or wait longer to you know, to have what you need. So, you know, that little like stigma means, oh, well, if I practice half an hour every day, I can have the faster service rather than the slower service. And the irony is, or at least in the UK, there are great, you know, 2-year waiting lists anyway. So for us, it would actually be a quicker service. If people had to maintain themselves and look after themselves and therefore got a better, you know, a faster service, you would find after a while people would do it. You know, people would actually maintain themselves. And that's the thing. We're meant to self-govern. We're meant to heal ourselves. We eat, we drink. Don't you think you should be able to balance that as well? Don't you think, you know, this whole point of we only use 10% of our capability, our, not just our brains, but our whole human capability. And, you know, I like, you know, just that little wiggle and that it gets me, yeah, I want to get moving. But yeah, we're meant to move. We're meant to flow. We're meant to find ways to supercharge ourselves, to do this wonderful stuff that we do. So, you know,
and I really like so people in the US need to know what people in the UK are doing to maintain their health. And so the majority of people over here that believe in Trump nonsense think that the socialized medicine of the UK is not working. And I'd like to hear you tell me how it is working.
Well, I mean, the medical system it's funny. I'll put it like this. It's funny that there's British comedians that go to America, but when they're here, they always take the mickey out of the medical service. You know that how long you have to wait to have healing or medicine or whatnot. And it's always funny. What they go to America, spend some time in America. When they come back, they always say, every comedian says, the one thing I will never take the mickey out of ever again is the National Health Service, is the British National Health Service, because they always say is that, you know, when in America it costs so much more. We get a service that's paid for. We get you know, it might have to wait some time on certain things, but we get a service that's actually already, you know, paid for, that we pay for in our taxes, and we get, you know, we do get helped. And what they don't realize until they go somewhere else is that actually certain other places have a totally different system where you have to, you know, pay up front, or, you know, if you don't have the money, you don't get service, you don't get help, you don't get healed. And, you know, that's well, it is what it is. But this is why, but this is the point of people like yourself, people like us, is that there is another way. We can help you do simple exercises that will help yourself. And through time, you'll get stronger and stronger and build up. And, you know, we're not meant at 30, 40, 50, 60 to have aches and pains all the time. We're not meant to struggle to get up in the morning. We think we are, because that's what we got used to. But that's not, when I've seen for example, in China, but other places, not just China as well, but other places where they do regular exercise, regular meditation and Qigong and exercises, that people in their 50s and 60s and 70s are fitter than most people in their 30s and 40s in the UK. I don't know about the States, but definitely in the UK. You know, I've seen people in China at 60, 70 plus who are far more fitter than the average 30, 40-year-old here. And it's because they do regular exercise, regular routine. They've made this part of their daily habits. And it's just because in our society, we've sort of lost that way. We've, lost that focus. And I mean, so it's interesting for what's happening in the UK is that things like Qigong, things like Tai Chi are now being introduced more. There are more doctors. I've actually taught over the years. I've taught a couple of doctors Qigong and Tai Chi, and I know that they now, they encourage their patients to learn and practice because they've seen the benefits for themselves. They've seen, it's what that great thing. Or I had a doctor say, Boggy, I don't understand what you do, but I can see the benefits. I can see what it's doing, and it's affecting the body. So I have to go by that.
That's great. So in America, the number one cause of death is heart disease, stroke, high blood pressure, and heart attack. And so those things are so easy to prevent by just exercising. So most people think cardiovascular exercise is a requirement, and they think that running is the way to do the cardiovascular. But I want you to think about this. How do you purify your blood? Through your lungs. And how do the lungs work? Well, the diaphragm pushes the air out of the bottom of the lungs. When you push the air out, the blood goes in the lungs and pushes the blood out. So it's the diaphragm that pumps the blood and not the heart. So why is that not common knowledge? Why do we not know that breathing is the only way to purify the blood? The liver filters the blood from the organs, and the dirt becomes the bile, which breaks down fats. The heart filters the blood from the arms and legs and sends it to the lungs for oxygenation. The kidneys filter all the fluids. The spleen filters through the lymphatic system. So your spleen, your kidneys, and your liver are all pre-filters before the blood gets to the heart. And the heart filters oxygen in through the lungs. So it's the diaphragm that blood clean and moves the heart. So this is what we need to be teaching, because when you do Qigong, what do they talk about? Develop the center. The solar plexus, the third chakra. Mm-hmm. So this is how we prevent heart disease.
Very much so, indeed. I agree with you totally. Right, okay. Let's just see. Just do this. Right. So, So these are the different exercises that you're teaching. Where can we find you? What's your website?
I want you to go to taiyogausa.com.
Okay, so this is
taiyogausa.com or Blue Dragon Qigong Academy.com. And you'll get a flavor of what I'm doing. So right now I have people working on the website to upload the dances. So like I said, there's 12 Qi dances, and they will be, they are on Deep Root. Oh my God, I forgot the name of Deep Root. It's on Kajabi. I forgot the name of the website already. That's
But your website is Blue Dragon Qigong Academy, is that right?
That's right. And I will have the Deep Root School of Spiritual Science. I think that's what it's called. I'm hosting the 12 tea dances on that website.
Awesome, cool. Right, so well, actually, we sort of flipped this around because we sort of went off. We went out the races flying. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to actually flip this the other way. So that question, the question that I normally ask at the beginning of the show, I'm actually going to ask near the end of the show. So this is the way of George Chi, Dr. Love. So George, what is your way? What is your personal Tao?
Oh, wow. Okay, so my personal Tao is the 5 transformations. So just like there's the 5 phases or the 5 elements in Chinese medicine, I kind of put it to be emotional, spiritual, as opposed to the static way that it's normally described. Because the 5 elements are not hard, they're flowing. So there are 5 phases, and I changed the word phases to transformations. So we transform energy, we don't change energy. Energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but only transformed. So it doesn't matter where you start, but for purposes, let's say we start with the spleen, because the spleen is the master of digestion, the immune system, and red and white blood cell production. And Western medicine has very little knowledge of how the spleen actually works. So we're going to extracts nutrients and then provides digestive enzymes to break down those nutrients. The spleen moves the lymphatic system to extract fluid and send it to the kidney and the dirt and send it to the large intestine. Then the pure energy then goes into the lungs, which allows our ribs to open and close. So we want to expand and contract. Now the lungs obviously purify the blood by putting oxygen in, but then the lungs exhale carbon dioxide. Now where does the carbon come from? The carbon comes from the cooked food that you eat, because you carbonize your food. Pure then goes back into the blood, and the kidneys filter that, and then from the kidneys, after they filter all the fluids, the impure goes to the bladder, the pure goes back to the liver, and then the liver filters, the impure goes into the gallbladder. Now you asked me what was my Tao. So my Tao is that I'm constantly transforming myself every single day. So I go into the hot tub. I use the heat to drive the blood to the surface of the skin. And then I do cold. So I alternate hot, cold, hot, cold. So that helps me clean my blood. Then I do breath of fire. And if I can't do breath of fire, then I run, I bike, I swim, I skate, or I jump. Okay? And that's how I transform my lungs. Then I've invented weightlifting equipment, which this is a plastic baseball bat that the kids use, and I filled it with sand. I drilled a hole here, and I filled it with 8 pounds of sand. And so then I do this exercise where I tilt it to the side, I go behind, and then I have another one that's 6 pounds, I have another one that's 5 pounds, and then I have another one that's 10 pounds. So I do 80 of these every single day. And that's how I build my muscles, and that's how I strengthen the liver. And I practice mindfulness. I laugh at the absurdity of life. I'm constantly lifting people up. Everything to me is funny because life is so full of pain and suffering. What is the point of maintaining that? So whatever your problem is, I teach you how to find joy in every moment. So that's my personal Tao, and thank you for asking.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome, Doctor. Yeah, because when you find that joy, you bring that joy into your organs, you bring that joy into your body, and that's what it's all about. It's there is Bruce Lipton, a doctor, is an American doctor and scientist, and there's the whole thing about the placebo effect and the nocebo effect. And nocebo effect is all about when people focus on the negative, if you think you're going to get ill, if you think or that things are going to wear you down, then they will, because what you're focusing on, you literally manifest in your body. So the whole point of what George does and what I do, it's about firstly when the body's moving, the body's flowing. When the body's flowing, you're flowing the blood, you're flowing the oxygen, you're flowing the white blood cells, everything keeps circulating. And then this thing of stretching the muscles, stretching the working the muscles, stretching the tendons, you're working the body, you're increasing that blood flow. And I love the fact you say about the hot tub, using the hot tub and the whole thing of the hot tub and then the cold, you're bringing the blood to the surface and getting the blood again. It's all about this flow. It's all about this circulation. Yeah, it's. I've seen you do this on Instagram, because you have an Instagram page as well, and I've seen you using that on Instagram, and it reminds me of certain techniques that I've done in the past as well with certain. That was the one, again, in martial arts, the whole weapons training. Weapons weren't about actually fighting. Weapons were a workout. Weapons were actually getting you to use your muscles and tendons in a certain way. This is why, one of the, in Tai Chi, the spear form, which is spear and staff, is one of my favorites, because, especially if you have a flexible staff, it takes work to get that to move, and the energy that can generate comes through you. If you're all stiff and all tense, that vibration comes back and it vibrates through you, but you relax the body and you go with it. It can actually, it's awesome workout. And I mean, running, when you learn certain Taoist techniques and breathing stances for running as well, running, any exercise can be turned into a Qigong, because for me, Qigong means energizing exercise. So you gain more energy than you started with. And that's the true thing. We've got this premonition of exercise. You're meant to be knackered at the end. Not in Qigong. You're meant to be more vitalized. You're supposed to have more energy by the time you're finished than you started. That's the whole point. So it's all education, and that's what I mean. One of the first times, and I said this in the last show that you and I had 2 years ago now, I think. But your video, that first video of this is why I do Qigong, and it was bringing that awareness, and I think it was the beginning of the dance Qigong as well, because it was such a, I love that video so much, and I still do, and I still bring it up at any time I talk about you. I always, you got to see this video. You got to see this. So it's I'm always bringing it up, my friend. But it's all about that fun, like you say. It's about fun and magic and love, and this is what's going to change the world. Not us being serious, not trying to fight, not trying to argue, not trying to be clever, not trying to be. And that's my one issue in the West with scholars. Scholars think you must try to outsmart people. No, laugh them, make people laugh more. Use that knowledge should gain you mind, body, and spirit. It should be a mixture of the two. And I think that's what we miss in the scholarship. When we talk about certain people talk about Taoism in scholarship, they're only talking about the words, and it's like, no, Taoism is about feeling it. Taoism is about doing it. Taoism is about being it. It's not just words. Lao Tzu was never Lao Tzu or Lao Tzu's and Sun Tzu or Sun Tzu's. They were never just talking words. They were talking about physical activities. They were talking about things you interact and become. And the same with, you said about with the Egypt, it's the same thing. Those pictures were their best way of trying to describe exercises, and exercises are symbols. You're using your body to create a symbol, to create a vibration, to create a way of charging your body up, using those exercises. That's what it's all about. But hey, what do I know?
I have a PVC pipe 2 inches thick, 8 feet long, and I put water wrapped it at each end. I have that, and I work that out every Saturday. I do that with the 8-foot pole. So yeah, I think you should come visit me sometime.
It will definitely happen, brother. It will definitely happen. It's America is on the cards for sure, and I will. When I get over there, I will let you know, and we will have fun together. I am sure that we will definitely have fun together. I will be looking forward to it indeed, to be there in California with you. So, it's been such great fun to have you back on the show. So, guys, let's put it up again. So, www.bluedragonqigongacademy.com. That is the site to go to find this wonderful man, George Xavier Love. I always loved your name, George Xavier Love, Dr. Love. He is the guy, especially your stateside, and you can go down to where he is. He is the man to work with and to learn and grow from, for sure. And I love the fact that you're doing musical Qigong. I love all this, I love the different things you're doing. I am looking forward to seeing you in the future. It will happen. I know that for certain. So, is there anything else you want to say, brother, before we go?
I think that people need to start somewhere. You can't absorb it all at one and in one sitting. And all of us, we want to eat the elephant at one meal. I tell people, I can teach you a year, but it's 10 years. So slow and be consistent. Repetition is the mother of skill. So the 12 Qi dances, it takes a year to master the 12 Qi dances. So don't get excited and you're like, oh, this is easy. I know how to do that move. Until you can do it without thinking about it, until you can do it slow or fast. That is the way of the Qi, is to be still in your heart and be still in your mind. And thank you, Sifu Bogi, for having me on.
Oh, it's always a pleasure. It's always a great pleasure. I always love how, and we'll do it again sometime. But it's great to have you on the show, my friend. and it'll be great to see you in person. Like I say, it will happen because it's definitely in the books. I've just got to sort a few things out, but I will be in the States some point soon enough. When that is, I can't say for sure, but soon enough. But so, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show. It's been a great pleasure and honor to have Dr. Love back on the show again. The next show is actually the next show. We were going to have somebody on earlier, and he is now going to be on. He will now be on Thursday. So we have John DePass doing Changing Your Life with fitness and nutrition. He will be on Thursday. And then it's actually been like a fitness nutritional week, apparently. I didn't realize it, but it is because on Friday we have the great David Avocado Wolf. He is going to be on the show, so he will be on the show on Friday. So Thursday. So Thursday we have John DePass, and then Friday we have Avocado Wolf. So guys, for now, I hope you've enjoyed the show. It's been great to have Dr. Love back on. If you're interested in what I do, you can always find me on www.sifuboggy.com. I also have a group on Facebook called Sifu Boggy, the Shun Dao Mystery School. That is another way you can find me as well. And don't forget the mighty Dr. Love. You can find him on www.bluedragonqigongacademy.com. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Until next time, it's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from me, Sifu Boggy. It's goodbye from Dr. Love. Take care. Bye for now. Love, Chi, and Shen from the Way of Conscious Mindfulness.